this. Okay.
Speaker of the National Assembly of Seychelles, Honorable Roger Mossienne, Mrs. Buemo Segoma, Secretary General of the SADC-PF, Honorable members of the National Assembly, Chairperson of the Seychelles Human Rights Commission, Justice Bernardin Renaud, Madam Clerk, Madam Deputy Clerk, esteemed partners, Director of Finance and Corporate Services for SADC-PF, Mrs. Yapoka Mugandi, staff of the National Assembly Service, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It is my distinct honor and privilege to address you on this momentous occasion as we gather here to witness a significant event, the signing of the agreement for the third phase of the SIDA-funded SADC-PF SRHR governance project, an agreement that signifies collaboration, commitment, and progress. This signing will mark a significant milestone as we come together to formalize our dedication towards this project through effective governance aligned to country and regional priorities. enabling thus legislative, budgetary, and oversight parliamentary interventions on a wide range of issues that will be further elaborated during this ceremony. In line with the resolutions of the organs of the SADC-PF in relation to the new phase of the SRHR HIV and AIDS governance project, the National Assembly of Seychelles has once again accepted the invitation to participate by holding, of course, national activities that will serve to build the capacity of members around the project's focus areas as part of a deliberate effort to catalyze parliamentary engagement and accountability. Hence, this agreement that will be signed this morning stands as a pledge to work collaboratively, transparently, and tirelessly to ensure that every individual has the right to make informed choices about their own well-being and their future. As the program unfolds, we will also unveil the SADC-PF strategic plan for 2024 to 2028. Appreciating the need to keep the program's schedule, I will now invite the Clerk of the National Assembly, Mrs. Tanya Isaac, to present her welcoming speech. Madam Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Secretary General of SADC-PF, Honorable members of the National Assembly, chairpersons of the Seychelles Human Rights Commission, Madam Deputy Clerk, esteemed partners, Director of Finance and Corporate Services at SADC-PF, staff of the National Assembly Service, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this momentous occasion this morning. It is momentous not only because Seychelles is signing its third sexual reproductive health and rights HIV/AIDS governance project, but also because there is a renewed commitment within the National Assembly. There is an air of innovation and creativity to this project, something remarkable, like a rejuvenation taking place, and we are all positive that we will build on our past successes and continue to bring dividends for Seychelles and the SADC region. As you may be aware, this project's vision is universal access to integrated SRHR and HIV/AIDS services and related rights, including bringing forward social change, gender-responsive climate action, improved health, and respect for human rights that are enjoyed by all the SADC region within a framework that is conducive to democratic accountability. And we want this to be achieved by building the capacity of the legislature through its members and staff to heighten parliamentary interventions on SRHR governance. The implementation of activities by Seychelles are based on the 6 SRHR focus areas identified in the project proposal, and they are: 1, ensuring commodity security in the context of universal health coverage; 2, promoting gender equality, including in climate action and eliminating sexual and gender-based violence; 3, eliminating child marriage, early and unintended pregnancies and promoting safe abortion; 4, promoting comprehensive sexuality education and the right to information on sexual reproductive health rights; and 5th, not the end, but 5th, protecting key populations and marginalized groups; and the last one, promoting democratic accountability and advancing human rights. Ladies and gentlemen, Seychelles is one of 13 countries in the SADC region who has willingly accepted to take part in this project for the 3rd time, as mentioned by Ms. Danielle. At this point, I would like to express my appreciation to the Secretary General of SADC-PF, Ms. Buemo Segoma, for her vision and leadership at SADC-PF, for ensuring that the necessary mechanisms and processes at the SADC-PF Secretariat level are robust and consequently build the confidence of the donors to invest heavily in this project, because it is worthy and the outcomes will be impactful for Seychelles and also for the SADC region. Although Parliament is the focus of this project, the National Assembly of Seychelles has always had the support of stakeholders, and they are with us today. The National Working Group, the Technical Working Group, and they are witnessing the signing of this agreement, and some of them will also deliver solidarity remarks later. There's been several noteworthy achievements by Seychelles, and from this project, and the SADC delegation of Seychelles, headed by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Roger Mancienne, who's also the President of SADC-PF, are represented on its various internal structures and have adopted the SADC Model Law on Gender-Based Violence and the SADC Model Law on Public Finance Management. In addition to this, the National Assembly has enhanced its interest by members exercising oversight initiatives on access to SRHR services within the context of universal health coverage through questions, motions, amendment to legislations, and by scrutinizing the budget, more so through the Communicable Diseases, HIV/AIDS, and SRHR Committee, the Women Parliamentary Caucus, and through the SRHR researcher, Ms. Geneviève Daniel, in collaboration with other stakeholders. As we look to the future, I am confident of our collective implementation of this project through our robust networks, collaborations, activism, and the mainstreaming of SRHR in our core mandates. We will throw our nets far and wide to be more participatory, inclusive, and accountable for the people of Seychelles. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Madam Clark, and allow me to extend a warm welcome to the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Javieri, who's also present with us this morning. And now I have the honor to call upon the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Roger Mancienne, to address us, please. Honorable Mancienne.
Thank you. Secretary General of SADC-PF, Mrs. Buemo-Segoma, Honorable Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Members of the National Assembly, Chairperson of the Seychelles Human Rights Commission, Justice Bernardin Reynaud, Madam Clark, Madam Deputy Clark, esteemed partners, Director of Finance and Corporate Services of SADC-PF, staff of the National Assembly, ladies and gentlemen, and all friends and colleagues, welcome to this ceremony. It is a pleasure for me to address a few words at the opening of this ceremony. First of all, I want to express my appreciation to Secretary General Buemo-Segoma for her presence with us today. It would really be a pleasure at any time to receive her as a representative, as the head of the SADC-PF Secretariat. But it is a greater honor because of the mission that she's on today, which is very important for the National Assembly of Seychelles and for our relationship with SADC-PF. I also want to pay homage to SADC-PF as an organization. We have been privileged to have a robust and fruitful relationship with the SADC Parliamentary Forum over many years, and this has brought many benefits to the National Assembly of Seychelles. We have been able to participate in exchanges, encounters, meetings with other parliamentarians of our region. We have earned great experience from these encounters. We have been able to contribute and share in policy making, analysis of the challenges that our peoples face, and also in the formulation of model laws, which the National Assembly has adopted, as Madame Clark has duly noted. All of this has been a very fruitful journey. It is not only for the fact that the members of SADC-PF are neighbors, and therefore the people in the region, the parliamentarians, who share the same interests that we have. And it is not also because I am president of SADC-PF today. But what we have and what we agree on is that SADC-PF has been an effective organization that has delivered on its mission. And that is what we greatly appreciate. The value has been there for us. You know, we are here to renew an agreement between SADC-PF and the National Assembly of Seychelles. But while we go on to renew, let us look back on what has been passed. We have been engaged in an agreement which has also benefited the National Assembly of Seychelles. This agreement has been focused on sexual reproductive health and rights. It has encompassed other issues close to that area, a measure of empowerment of women to defend their rights, social inclusion, and so on. All of this has been well worthwhile. And here I want to thank the people who have been involved in this endeavor. Members of the National Assembly, members and heads of the Secretariat, the coordinator of the program, my director, Geneviève Daniel. These are the people that have brought this program to fruition and that have delivered the results that we have been able to achieve. But today, we move on to another level. The new agreement, as the Secretary General has shared with me, encompasses a lot more than health and related issues. The scope of the agreement has been broadened to include many areas that are of concern to our National Assembly and that encompass issues that we have been working on and that we want to continue working on. I am sure the Secretary General will elaborate on this, but I just want to note that we have in the list subjects like democracy and government, human rights, social inclusion, climate justice, and so on. All of this to illustrate the scope of the new agreement. The activities that this program will cover has also been broadened. Here, one of the critical aspects of this agreement is that it involves not just one or two committees connected to health, but all our assembly committees. There is something in all of this for all of our committees, in fact, everyone in the National Assembly of Seychelles. The scope of activities, as the Secretary General has shared with me, is also very broad. It can include visits, seminars, workshops, public awareness campaigns, meetings. Really, the scope is large and very flexible. It will remain for us as a National Assembly to define the mechanism by which committees, members of the Assembly can engage in this program. And we have agreed with the chairpersons and vice chairs of the committees that we will meet to set up the processes that we will follow for committees to engage. And this underlines a very important aspect of the work of the National Assembly, which we call our outreach program. The outreach program basically brings the National Assembly in contact with the people whom we serve. It is there to promote the work of the Assembly, not only, and to move it from the chamber that is behind me to our country in general as a whole. And there is also a lot of scope in how far we can reach. And I am hoping that members of the National Assembly and committees will work closely with the staff who will organize this program to do as much as possible, take up the challenge to look for new initiatives and new ways of engaging with the public, with our constituents. And this is where this new program will make a great difference. We can all have our preferences. Personally, one of the things that I hope the Assembly can engage better in is influencing the lifestyle choices of young people. Not only in terms of what they consume, but in terms of their habits, how much time they spend on their mobile phones and gadgets, and how much in healthy and well-being activities. So the engagement of the National Assembly in this project is very important, crucial to its success. The expansion of the outreach program will take our work to a new level. Now, all of this fits in perfectly well with the mission of the National Assembly, because we are here to ensure the rights of the people whom we serve and to bring them all the opportunities and benefits that our society can offer. So you can understand why I am very optimistic about this program and why I take special pride in welcoming the Secretary General to launch this program. Of course, we all need to bring our support, and I am here to commit my full support to any initiative in that area, and I hope to be able to bring this support to any member, any committee that engages in a part of this program. Having said this, I want to thank the organizers, the committees, the coordinating committees that have existed and that will continue to work to make a success of this program. I will not forget that health is the basis of this discussion. This is where we started, and this is where we will continue and take forward. And incidentally, it is interesting that, coincidental, that April 7th, tomorrow, is World Health Day. A happy coincidence, I believe, and I believe that augurs very well, a very good message for the launching of this renewal in agreement with SADC-PF. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this most enlightening speech and for your support towards the project. And now I have the honor to call forward Ms. Buemo Segoma, Secretary General of SADC PF, to officially launch the project, the signing.
Good morning. Good morning. Allow me to start by appreciating and recognizing our Honorable Speaker, Honorable Roger Massieng, the Speaker of the National Assembly and the President of the SADC Parliamentary Forum. Further, to recognize the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Gevias Henry, Honorable members of the National Assembly in your respective hierarchies, and the SADC Parliamentary Forum members of Parliament, Chairperson of the Seychelles Human Rights Commission, Justice Bernardine Renaud, Tanya Isaacs, Madam Clerk of the National Assembly, Madam Deputy Clerk, Alexandria Foray, esteemed partners from civil society, line ministries and the United Nations agencies, and the members of the Technical Working Group, our Director of Finance, Human Resources and Corporate Services from the SADC Parliamentary Forum, Mrs. Yapoka Mongandi, staff of the National Assembly of Seychelles, and the sexual reproductive health and rights researchers based in various SADC countries who are joining us online. Allow me to just say, dear honorable members, distinguished participants, good morning once again. Allow me to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for welcoming the forum to the National Assembly of the Republic of Seychelles. It's always a good feeling to be in your beautiful island. We are really pleased to be here with you in your splendid country, which reverberates unity, fraternity, and cultural diversity, which are core values shared at the SADC level. The Republic of Seychelles has always fascinated members of the SADC Parliamentary Forum, and I know several member states of SADC, for its beauty, hospitality, and economic success on multiple fronts. And our visit has indeed served to witness the sterling progress made by your island nation in recent years. More than ever, Seychelles is now known to be an inexorable destination for tourism, fishing activities, sea activities, which are reliable economic sectors that other countries yearn to emulate. Unfortunately, some of us come from landlocked countries, so we can only, lavish at what we see every time we come here. At the SADC Parliamentary Forum level, the Parliament of Seychelles is a crucial partner to all initiatives conducted and implemented by the Secretariat, both in relation to statutory meetings and activities under the Programs Department, such as the one we are gathering here today for. Distinguished delegates, furthermore, I wish to highlight that we are honored to be here at a time when the Parliament of Seychelles is occupying the presidency of the SADC Parliamentary Forum. Through the distinguished leadership of the Honorable Speaker, Roger Massieng, under his guidance and presidency, giant strides were made to advance democratizations and socio-economic development in the SADC region. And a record number of achievements have been completed. Allow me to seize this august opportunity to thank him for his sagacity and erudite wisdom that he has provided to the SADC Parliamentary Forum. May you kindly give him a round of applause. I wish on this score to equally thank members of Parliament from this particular assembly who serve on diverse standing committees of the forum and are very vocal to advance interparliamentary cooperation and diplomacy. Allow me to indicate and share with you that we are pleased with Honorable Regina Esperong's chairpersonship at the Regional Women's Parliamentary Caucus. She has successfully spearheaded several initiatives and served to advance gender equality and sexual reproductive health and rights at the regional level. Thank you, Honorable Esperong. We also have Honorable Kelly Saminadi, apologies, who has succeeded Honorable Rosé Bistoke. We wish her all the best in pursuing as the chairperson of the Human and Social Development and Special Programs. You're welcome to the fold. In this vein, I wish to pay tribute to the chairperson of the late Rosé Bistoke, who was a shining light at the SADC Parliamentary Forum, whilst chairing the Human and Social Development and Special Programs Committee. She brilliantly imparted her astute leadership on issues of gender equality, women's empowerment, human rights, and her representation ensured that these issues were integrated consistently on the agenda of the Human and Social Development and Special Programs. Her passing away was a definite loss to the region and the forum, and also demonstrates the grandeur of her contribution to regional cooperation. On this note, I remain confident that Seychelles will continue on the golden footprints of Honorable Rosé Bistoke and will pursue to demonstrate outstanding results at the level of the Human and Social Development and Special Programs. May her soul rest in peace. Furthermore, distinguished participants, as we launch the Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights Project today, before this August audience, I wish to acknowledge the steadfast progress made by Seychelles over the years, especially with regards to the protection of key populations, eradicating child marriages and protecting children already in marriages, domestic violence interventions, among others. These achievements resonate with the Forum policy on sexual reproductive health and rights and corresponds to domestication of Forum resolutions and model laws. While there is room for improvement, there is no doubt that the Parliament of Seychelles will continue to influence sexual reproductive health and rights governance landscape through new laws and policies, budgets and oversight initiatives under the revamped project which has been implemented from 2023. Now allow me, honorable members and colleagues, to pay tribute to Mrs. Genevieve Danielle, who has been the light and force behind the implementation of the Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights Project, which ended last year. Her consummate skills, her professionalism and dedication to the guidelines and grant agreement provisions has really taken us further, and that is why we are able to talk of successes of this particular parliament. Kindly applaud her contribution. Dear honorable members and distinguished colleagues and participants, you'll of course have the opportunity to consider the full project document, which is available at the office of the clerk of this parliament. At this stage, I wish to draw your attention to a few salient features concerning the project, which would undoubtedly be relevant to your national parliament and communities of Seychelles. First of all, I wish to highlight that the project encapsulates 6 focus areas, as Madam Clerk has already enunciated. Commodity security being critical and has a trade bearing on intellectual rights and properties. sexual gender-based violence, and gender equality, which draws us to look at certain treaties, conventions, and protocols, including the Human Rights Charter, in terms of ensuring that we integrate these into the SRHR democratization and governance initiatives. Preventing child marriages and unintended pregnancies. The issue of youth becomes critical at this point, as well as ensuring that children stay in school. Comprehensive sexuality has a huge preventative component that allows us to nurture and develop our children to be wary of how they could protect themselves in such instances. The issue of key populations, and in this context, in your epidemic, you only don't deal with key populations that are similar to other countries, but you have peculiarities that need to be addressed. And finally, democracy and human rights, which is critical to our governance and how we deal with finances at national level. Under this second phase, areas like gender equality, there is now a marked focus placed on mainstreaming gender in climate change action, among others. This means that within the context of the gender discourse, there is now an opportunity to heighten parliamentary intervention with respect to the contribution with which women and young girls can make to policy making concerning the protection of the environment, reducing carbon emissions, as well as in precautionary planning for disaster recovery. Undoubtedly, this is a theme which will directly benefit the Republic of Seychelles as an island state that equally suffers from extreme weather events and the rise of the sea level due to global warming. And this has a direct linkage to pregnancy, to stillbirth, and affecting the placenta of most women during pregnancy. Secondly, I wish to add that the project also focuses on democratic accountability and anti-corruption frameworks. This, in turn, weaves with the recently adopted SADC model law on public financial management, which provides for best principles of democratic accountability by empowering parliaments to mainstream the sustainable development goals through the budget and to consider the fiscal accounts of all bodies which are funded by the state in view of oiling accountability levers which are too often clogged through an opacity of transactions and lack of information. We have the SADC model law and public financial model law, which was developed to further strengthen the powers of the public accounts committees. This also further opens doors to democratic accountability, which will undeniably lead to a better implementation of human rights, including the right to health pursuant to SDG 3, among others. Thirdly, the project now encourages an outreach to academic institutions, faith and traditional leaders, as well as civil society organizations to act as think tanks that can supplement the information that is fed to Parliament from a sexual reproductive health and rights, a human rights democratic government perspective. More than ever, the project also aims for a rule-based and human rights approach to sexual reproductive health and rights implementation, which is grounded in the sacrosanct values of equality of treatment and non-discrimination. I will not further delve into the merits of the project. The Honorable Speaker and Madam Clerk have done so, but since these will be covered through a recorded presentation later during this project launch, you will further appreciate some of the axes of the project. At present, it suffices to add that the National Assembly of Seychelles is well on board with the project, and following the signature of the project implementation agreement, resources under the project may be tapped to swiftly to implement activities. It is also important to know that it will be useful that in the margins of the project launch, my office has met with offices of the clerk, the finance and administrative department, staff of parliaments, relevant committees, and also chairpersons of various committees to look at issues of accounts, procurement, processing times, in view of ensuring that the best conditions prevail for project activities to be implemented in line with our funders' agreement, SEDA, in order to ensure that all the requirements, as well as established anti-corruption and anti-bribery frameworks, are integrated. Dear honorable members, distinguished colleagues and participants, I now wish to say a few things about the strategic plan of the SADC Parliamentary Forum, which has been rolled out from January this year, 2024 to 2026, which intertwines or interweaves the SRHR project with the objectives of consolidating the goals under the strategic plan. The vision of the strategic plan is for the forum to be a proponent for robust democracies that propitiously deliver human rights, climate justice, and socio-economic prosperity for Southern Africa. The forum's motto is to stand for parliaments and democracy. I'm sure honorable members who were here in the past year will concur that the vision and motto of the forum demonstrates continuity with past initiatives, and they are at the same time forward-looking by leaving room for innovation to deal with emerging challenges. The strategic plan has three main thrusts, which deal with capacity building, domestication of normative frameworks, and promoting fiscal governance. Firstly, the strategic plan envisions to promote the capacity building of national parliaments to become more robust, democratically accountable, and increasingly agile to deliver participatory democracy and other parliamentary functions. This includes digital transformation of national parliaments, heightening their eco-friendliness, as well as upscaling of facilities such as Hansard reporting, library and archiving to promote the preservation of institutional memory. Capacity building also entails improving knowledge base around key themes that I've outlined in the project areas, and also focusing on staff of parliament who are the backbone of the institution of parliament. Secondly, the strategic plan envisages that the forum plays a key role in leadership to adopt the domestication and normative legal frameworks on themes which are common regional interest. These include the domestication of the model law on gender-based violence, the model law on HIV and AIDS, the model law on public financial management, the model law on elections, as well as the model law on eradicating child marriages and protecting children already in marriages. I wish to add on this score that the forum is planning to adopt another set of model laws, which model laws include the model laws on prisons oversight and places of detention, the model law on safe abortion, the model law on climate change, the model law on the preservation of state assets, and the model law on the rule of law and constitutionalism, which will support the objectives under the strategic plan. In this respect, the forum strategy involves that benchmarking exercises be carried out with other interparliamentary bodies and networks, such as the European Parliamentary Forum, the European Parliament, CPA, ECOWAS, the Great Lakes Pan-African Parliament, and others, to promote a shared understanding of protected norms contained in our model laws. Thirdly, the strategic plan lays emphasis on the fiscal governance of the forum, which is essential in view of preparations made to transition to a regional parliament in the medium term. Fiscal governance instills discipline on the organization and seeks to position the forum as a guiding regional reference and benchmark for matters of fiscal governance, accountability, and transparency. An example of this is the provision of a costed budget and clear goals in the strategic plan, which links to the activities included in the budget. These will be evaluated and monitored through the medium-term review and end-of-term review of the strategic plan that will be shared with all members of Parliament once it is implemented. I also wish to add that the strategic plan is a dynamic document which activates and mandates the organs of the forum, in particular the standing committees, to promote interparliamentary cooperation and diplomacy through thematic engagement and interventions. The strategic plan defines the parameters of the forum's interventions, but the life of the forum is you, honorable members, who master efforts to advance interparliamentary integration. You are at the center of the strategic plan and the forum's initiatives. Hence, I encourage you to actively participate in activities of interest which will further bring the SADC region closer and reinforce the SADC identity. I will end now by encompassing that all initiatives of the forum have a fundamental objective, which is to promote integration of SADC member states through harmonized policies and laws, as well as uniform practices. This harmonization is central to economic cooperation, since it is trite that countries which are at the same development level will find it more convenient to cooperate, to open borders, or to give visas exemptions and promote trade in goods and services or movement of capital and labor. The transformation, honorable members of the SADC Parliamentary Forum, into a regional parliament, which is part of the forum strategy, forms part of this present vision to create a SADC region where countries are fully integrated from a socio-economic perspective, while bearing in mind national sovereignty. Currently, incremental steps are being made towards transformation through the signature by member states, and will continue to rely on the staunch support of the President of the SADC Parliamentary Forum to fulfill the transformation agenda. In line with the spirit of the transformation, we believe that the Parliament as an institution has a role to play in making countries approach one another and in creating lasting bridges of cooperation and friendship. This is the golden thread of the forum strategy and its various initiatives, such as this project that we're launching today. We also firmly believe that each parliament of the SADC region, including the Parliament of Seychelles, is important to nurture the requisite conditions to facilitate regional integration at all levels. It is with this unflinching faith in Parliament as an institution that the Forum has proceeded with this project to launch today before this August audience. We are confident that the project launch is the herald of a promising and fruitful collaboration that will lead to opening parliaments to the citizens and further give us positive results for the benefit of the Seychelles and the SADC region as a whole. I thank you for your kind listening.
Thank you very much, SG. Once again, very enlightening and very promising speech. And now, distinguished attendees, partners, ladies and gentlemen, as we come together to formalize this agreement, we are not just putting pen to paper. We are forging bonds, creating opportunities, and setting the stage for a brighter future. This agreement represents the culmination of hard work, dedication, and shared vision among all parties involved. As such, it is my pleasure to announce that we are now going to proceed with the signing of the SRHR project agreement. For this, I will call forth our protocol officers to facilitate the signing between SADC-PF and the National Assembly of Seychelles. And now we're going to have a photo with Mr. Speaker, SG, and Madam Clerk. As the exchange agreements. It is now sealed and done. A significant milestone indeed. Can I just have another round of applause for this milestone? Thank you. It is also indeed inspiring to witness the spirit of cooperation and partnership that has brought us to this point. It is through working together, hand in hand, that we can achieve great things and make a real difference. And now, in this vein, I will call for solidarity remarks from our esteemed partners, and I will call upon Dr. Gabriel from the Ministry of Health to begin with the solidarity remarks. Thank you.
President of the SADC Parliamentary Forum, Director General, members of the National Assembly, Judge Renaud, good morning, colleagues and friends. It's indeed a great pleasure to stand before you today to just say these few remarks of solidarity. As I look through the strategic goals, I'm really indeed happy to see that the strategic plan has been endorsed by our own National Assembly Speaker, and we are very grateful for that. So it makes it difficult for us not to implement the strategic plan because we have ownership already and we are accountable. When we first started strategic planning back in the 90s, the one thing that I always remember, you need to know where you are to know where you're going. And you need to know exactly where you're going because this is where you are. You don't want to end up on the same spot. We keep talking about 2030, but it's not just about 2030. We are not going to die, all of us, in 2030. We're going to continue living. So we need to reach even further. And when I look at the strategy goals, it's talking about effectiveness, it's about satisfaction, it's about efficiency and transparency. It even talks about climate change, it talks about staff engagement and sustainable financing. These are subjects which are close to our hearts. It's not just in the National Assembly, it's not just in the Parliament. Nationally, we are all concerned about these topics, even in the health ministry. These are values for us: universal health coverage, sustainable financing, sexual reproductive health and rights, gender-based violence. But nowadays, we no longer talk about only gender-based violence in Seychelles. As we've seen, we talk about domestic violence, we talk about sexual violence, we talk about violence in general, and these are issues for us to tackle. We talk about advocacy. We need to go out to those who are left behind, pull them out from where they are, raise public awareness on our own issues, community engagement, engage the community as people who work in the National Assembly, and even as health advocates, we are close to the community. But do we really know what happens in the home? Do we really know if a child has had dinner last night? Do we really know if there are windows and doors to these homes, or supposedly called homes? I think we need to be closer to our community and ensure that the rights of our people are respected, and we defend those rights when we go to the National Assembly. It's not about who is right or who is wrong, but how do we uphold the right of the community? We talk about commodity security, and only last week we had a meeting in the Ministry of Health with other SIDS countries where we're trying to forge commodity security in the health realm, trying to work together to make sure that we never run out of essential commodities in our islands. Preventing unintended pregnancies has been a subject close to our hearts for several decades now. In the past, it used to be shied upon, but now we know that our children have got every opportunity to not end up with a teenage pregnancy. And we should not be targeting only the girls, but the boys as well. And we still talk about key population, but who is the key population? It's our youth, it's our children. It's our children in prison, it's our children on drugs, and our children on alcohol. These are children who have mothers, who have parents, who have siblings. But nowadays we talk about them as key populations. Who are they? Where are they? We need to find out where they are and pull them out. And just to, as I finish, I would just like to commit to our renewed collaboration on behalf of the Ministry of Health to strengthen measures for implementation of the SDGs, because this is what we've been all working on towards 2030. We also want to work towards the goals and targets of the SADC-PF strategic plan, and we want to partner with the local Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights HIV Committee so that we can achieve our objectives together. Not just the project objectives, but the objectives of the strategic plan, but not just those which are mentioned in the strategic plan, but any new emerging issues until the time of reckoning. We recognize the work of the Speaker of the National Assembly of Seychelles as President of the SADC-PF, and also the Committee of the National Assembly, which has been working very hard. As Rosie Bistoke used to say, Geneviève is able to do it. Just tell her to do it, just push her. She will do it, she will deliver. We also welcome our new chairperson, Ms. Samina Dare. You come from my district, we will be working together. So thank you very much for accepting to be the chairperson. And I thank the SADC-PF for the continued support and for engaging the Ministry of Health in this venture. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Gabrielle. I will now call upon Mr. Justin Fréminot, Chairperson of HASO. Mr. Fréminot.
We say good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A special welcome to Madam Secretary General from I know that I'm not used to this protocol issue, but I can say all protocol observed. Excuse me for that, please. So, I'm very happy to be here today, to be part of this project, because I've been working with this project for quite some time. I think for 3 or 4 years in the past. So I'm very happy that we are continuing working with this project. And we hope at this time, as we go along, we see some progress. And I'm very, very sure that this will happen. Today we gather here to show our solidarity and unwavering support for sexual reproductive health and rights, as well as the fight against HIV/AIDS. These are issues that affect millions of people around the world, including Seychelles, and it is our collective duty to stand together in the face of these challenges. Sexual reproductive health and rights is a fundamental human right that must be protected and respected for all individuals, regardless of the gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status. Access to comprehensive healthcare, including family planning services, contraceptive, and safe abortion, is crucial in ensuring the well-being and autonomy of individuals. We must work towards creating a world where everyone has the right to make informed decisions about their own bodies and to access the services they need to stay healthy and safe. The fight against HIV/AIDS is also a critical one, as millions of individuals continue to be affected by the disease every year. We must continue to educate our communities about prevention methods, promoting testing and treatment options, and work towards eliminating the stigma and discrimination that surround HIV and AIDS. We must support those living with HIV and AIDS and provide them with resources and support they need to live healthy and fulfilling life. Since its launching in 1995, HASO, as its name implies, has been supporting people living with HIV and their families. We know that people living with HIV have many health needs, including needs for sexual and reproductive services and rights. It is absolute that HIV response can only be successful when there are continuous, active involvement and full protection of the human rights of people living with, affected by, and at risk of HIV. As we stand here today, let us reaffirm our commitment to promoting sexual reproductive health and rights and fighting against HIV and AIDS. We must work together to address the underlying issues that perpetuate these challenges, such as poverty, inequality, and lack of education. It is only through collective action and solidarity that we can create a world where everyone has the right to health, including sexual reproductive health, dignity, and equality. So let us stand together to support sexual reproductive health and rights, HIV/AIDS, and work together towards a healthier and more equitable future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fremino. Now I call upon Mr. Gérard Kiwale from Family Department, please.
Honorable Mancien, Speaker of the National Assembly, Secretary General of the SPDF, Deputy Speaker, J.V. Henry, Madam Clerk and her deputy, Honorable of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As I have been introduced, I am representing the family department, which is one of the departments within the Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Family. This is a huge ministry, huge in terms of its responsibilities. And I am told just to say a few things about what to do in relation to what we are doing here this morning. Actually, what I was supposed to say, Dr. Gabriel has said it all. Because we work together with the Ministry of Health. We work together in issues of population. As such, I represent a very small unit in our department, the unit of population. And population is all about what we are doing here today. And as I speak, we are working very hard to update the population policy. And the pillars which are in this policy, if I can say, they concur with the pillars of this project. I know this project it has a framework which can be very short, but in your understanding, it will be very effective in what we are doing as far as population is concerned. I'm talking in general because I don't like to repeat the terminologies and what Dr. Gabriel has said, but actually population is all about what she said, and population is all about what we are doing. Anyway, I'll say a few things. And this, I don't think if I can avoid repeating what you say, Doctor. When we are talking of sexual reproductive health, it is not about youth, but it is also about youth. And our youth is, when you see the youth, the young people, they are very important to us when we are talking of population. Why am I saying so? It is because we also do talk of aging population. Si mo kan en créole, nos populations peuvent vieillir. But if we are talking of aging population, and you don't have youth, and you don't have productive youth, then we'll be in trouble. Very soon we'll be in trouble. And that's why we are underlying sexual reproductive health and rights. And HIV and AIDS, it is, in a way, the negative indicator of sexual and reproductive health and rights. If you're talking of HIV and AIDS, actually it is an enemy of sexual and reproductive health and rights. Another negative indicator in this area I'm talking about is the teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy. We have been advocating, campaigning for this, and actually we push forward, very forward to have the delayed first birth for the young people and for the ladies. When we are saying delayed, not for the 35, 40s, no. We are talking of maybe 20-something, 25 and above, not teenage pregnancy. But it is not easy. Why I'm saying it is not easy? Because the statistics which we have now, 2022, we had 3 teenage pregnancies for below 15 years. 23, we had 15. From 3 to 15 for this small population. And when you're talking of teenage pregnancy, you don't see behind the curtains. There can be a lot of abuses until you have this, or a lot of things which were not done until we talk of teenage pregnancy. And I am happy that this project, when we're talking of governance, when we're talking of social justice, we're not talking of everything. It will tackle also some areas which maybe can catalyze teenage pregnancy. So in short, I'm saying the project is very important for our ministry and for our department. We have, and I think this is the last point, we do have gender-based violence, and within gender-based violence, honorable members, you remember very well, we have the Domestic Violence Act, which is with us. And this domestic violence, not only it is with us, it has been pushed for sometimes with the honorable members, especially the ladies, and Madame Esperon is very in the front line for this. And now we have the law, and this law, we have the law, we have also the policy for gender, gender equality and what have you. And this comes very close to what we are doing today here in this room. Just to end, I would like to say my department, family department, as I said before, we work very close with our key stakeholders, partners, especially the Ministry of Health and other ministries. But without the National Assembly and without the media platforms, we cannot do much. You are the ones who can push things and can reach where maybe we like ourselves to reach. So the National Assembly and the media is very important for us. And I would like to thank those two entities I've mentioned, because they have been in front line for the areas where we are working to ensure not only equality and other things in this area of gender, but also HIV and AIDS and what have you. Having said this, I thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Kiwale. As mentioned before, this project cannot be fully implemented without the collaboration of our dedicated partners. So once again, thank you all, and let us applaud them all. Once again, thank you. Because these were only 3, but we do work with a large number of stakeholders, and we have members of the National Working Group and Technical Working Group present with us. So thank you for your collaboration and dedication. And as also mentioned right at the beginning, our program also includes the unveiling of the SADC-PF strategic plan, and the SG also early on gave some insight on the strategic plan, and we are now happy to have this strategic plan unveiled. our honorable speaker, and yes, she would like to say a few words before unveiling of the strategic plan. Just a brief.
Thank you. Well, it is another honor that I have today. The strategic plan 2024 to 2028 has been presented to us. We were privileged to have a presentation from the Secretary General yesterday. And as you know, what this means is that our course for SADC-PF for the next few years is set. The strategic plan outlines the objectives, the methodology, the assessment procedures, the targets that the organization will undertake. A very important document for any organization, but certainly very important for an organization that has diverse stakeholders and partners. Now, the important thing for me is to ensure that our National Assembly remains a steadfast partner in the implementation of the strategic plan. And to do that, it doesn't depend only on me. It depends on all my colleagues, all members of the Assembly, and all our support staff to ensure that we go along with all the members of SADC-PF, our fellow parliamentarians, our complementary institutions, to ensure that we implement this program to the full. And I hope that at the end of the program in 2028, we will give the Secretary General enough material to have her make a very positive speech about the implementation of the program. It will now be my pleasure to unveil the strategic plan, and I am told I have to do this with a simple instrument of scissors. Thank you. A little complicated here. Thank you again, and thank you, Secretary General, and your staff for the plan and for guiding us through it. Thank you.
And yes, you would like to say a few words? Or from?
Okay, just to say thank you very much. The forum is made out of 3,500 members of parliament, and you're one of them. The citizens of SADC in all the countries are also party to your representation role. So thank you very much, Honorable President, and thank you, Seychelles, for honoring the SADC Parliamentary Forum.
So now we have both. We have a signed agreement. We have the strategic plan. So thank you to you too, Madam SG, and your secretariat. And before we conclude, I would like to call upon Madam Deputy Clerk, Ms. Alexandria Faure, who will have for us closing remarks. Deputy Clerk.
the Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Secretary General of the SADC Parliamentary Forum, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable members of the National Assembly, Chairperson of the Seychelles Human Rights Commission, the Honorable Clerk, esteemed partners, the Director for Finance and Corporate Services of SADC-PF, staff of the National Assembly Service, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we've laid the foundations for an exciting new beginning. Leaving no one behind has been a term that I've been hearing this week and throughout the duration of the previous project. And I truly believe it's a theme that we should keep close to our hearts as we embark on this journey together. I'll tell you why. Reginald from Seychelles was 19 years old when he found out that he was HIV positive. And today, he doesn't let this become a barrier for him, despite the stigmatizations and discrimination which has deeply impacted his employability. He believes that it is vital to engage and educate the public on HIV/AIDS, as well as promote testing and the benefits of treatment with target groups that are vulnerable. He calls for more outreach programs, the protection of human rights, legislation, and for services to be brought closer to the people so that, again, no one is left behind. There are a multitude of stories like Reginald in Seychelles, spanning countries and small islands, cross-cutting through issues just mentioned, including democratic governance, sexual gender-based violence, teenage pregnancies, and climate justice, among others. In the Pacific, people are realizing that conversations around climate change involve more than just science and data, but telling stories of those who are combating it and how it's affecting other areas of life, public health, resilience, and biodiversity issues. You may be wondering, what has this all got to do with Parliament and the agreement that we've signed today and the strategic plan that we've just unveiled? Well, it has everything. Parliamentary leadership in this respect is vital, and we are marking a commitment for no one to be left behind. And this includes parliamentarians as enablers within the democratic system, as the embodiment of the will of the people, parliamentary staff and our esteemed partners as a specialized machine that will drive forward this assistance. Today, by signing this agreement, we have reignited our pledge to champion the rights and well-beings of individuals like Reginald and others, irrespective of gender, race, age, or background. This morning and yesterday's speeches and presentations and interactions have covered the breadth and scope of this governance project. And at every step, I and we can observe the shared commitment for addressing the very pressing challenges facing our communities: national implementation, research capacity and data for evidence-based decision-making, democratic accountability, climate justice, reducing poverty, protecting rights, legislative reform, issues of youth. The list is very long. The agreement has been signed, and we are now embarking on a 3-year collaborative journey together to empower our communities, transform lives, harness our expertise to build a more equitable future for all. So I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the SG and her team, to all the members, parliamentary staff, the national and technical working groups, to all our stakeholders, and to each and every one for your steadfast dedication, your tireless efforts, and your unwavering commitment to this vital cause. There is still much to do, and we must press on. So therefore, let us move forward, knowing the impact of our actions and that it will pave the way for a brighter future for people. People like Reginald and others. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk, very deep. And as we conclude, I may be repeating a few words, but I feel that we have to conclude with this. I am honored to acknowledge and applaud the invaluable contributions and unwavering commitment of all stakeholders involved in the SADC-PF SRHR governance project. Your dedication and efforts, as have been said, and I want to emphasize, are instrumental in driving positive change and progress in our communities, and your roles are essential in ensuring the success of this project. I commend the leadership of the National Assembly and members for championing the cause of SRHR governance within our country and across the region. Your commitment to promoting democracy, human rights, and non-discrimination is a testament to your unwavering dedication to upholding the fundamental values of equality and justice for all individuals. To Madam SG and all the representatives of the SADC-PF, I extend on behalf of the National Assembly my deepest appreciation for your continued support and collaboration in advancing the goals of this project. Your expertise and guidance have been invaluable in shaping the strategic direction of our efforts and ensuring that our initiatives are aligned with the broader objectives of the SADC region. To the various stakeholders present here today, and also to those not present today, including civil society organizations, healthcare providers, advocacy groups, and community leaders, I express my heartfelt gratitude for your tireless work and advocacy on behalf of marginalized and vulnerable populations. Your commitment to ensuring the inclusion and empowerment of key populations is a testament to your dedication to promoting social justice and equity for all individuals. Once again, I thank you for your commitment, dedication, and support. Let us work together to make a difference and build a brighter future for everyone. Thank you. And now that we have concluded, let me invite you all for a group photo, after which you are invited to partake to some tea, snacks, and refreshments. We were supposed to have a tea break in between, but then we realized that we were going a bit fast, so we removed that tea break, and now we're going to have tea now. So, no, this is the end of our program, yes, because we removed the tea break, so yes. Okay, so once again, thank you. It's been a pleasure having you. Yeah, now for the group photo at the entrance. Thank you.